Hi dear friends, my name is Ala and I'm happy to welcome you on my YouTube channel Linden Grow Gardens. It is still cold outside, but there are first signs of spring already in the garden. Despite it's so cold, there are works in the garden which have to be done before everything starts to grow actively. So today we'll be pruning clematis together with you. Actually, this work should have been done yet in autumn, but the autumn was really difficult here. I live in a war zone and I have various circumstances which can prevent me from doing the works in time. But if you didn't manage to do it in autumn, it doesn't matter at all because you can do it in early spring. So let's start. I'll describe to you the 3 pruning groups and I'll show you how to prune each of them. All the clematis fall into 3 pruning groups. The first pruning group are clematis which do not need to be pruned completely, and you should prune only the vines which died and which are dried out, and these are heterogene group. Heterogene group are very early flowering clematis. Actually, they are first to flower in my garden, and usually they start flowering in the middle or in the end of April, depending on the weather here. Heterogene vines look like this. So you can see that some buds can be easily detected as living buds, so they look very well, while some buds look like this, so you can consider them to be died, but actually when you take off this bud you see that it was green and it was alive. So at the moment, in the very early spring, it's really difficult to tell which vines are dead and which ones are alive. So I would recommend not to prune the first group right now and to wait while all these buds start its growth. So then you'll definitely see which vines are dead and which vines are actually living ones, and you will just cut off the vines which are dried out, because other vines, they do not need pruning at all. Pruning group 2 usually include clematis varieties which are large flowered, and most of them are originally coming from Japan. Actually, I do not have many of these varieties in my garden because my climate is not appropriate for them and they usually suffer from wilt a lot, and I have just several varieties which I like the most and just couldn't stand planting them in the garden. When pruning clematis of the second pruning group, you should cut off all the vines which are already dried out, and you can easily determine them because you can see that those buds are looking very well and they are actually ready to start their growth. Also here you can see very beautiful buds which are going to grow very soon, and actually if this variety was a double one, you will see double flowers on those old clematis branches vines. And you can see that here the buds are looking really bad, and you can see that the vine is completely dried out. So you should cut off such vines. So just cut off all the vines which are dried out. And when we speak about the vines which are alive, do not leave them as they are, because you should prune them approximately 1 meter or 1 meter 20 centimeters high above the earth level. So I can see that there are good buds, and here are good buds as well, and I will cut down the rest of the vine because it will enable my vine to grow better. And here it is, an old vine which is dried out. And you can see that lots of vines actually dried out because these clematis do not like my climate much, but during the season they will produce many other vines and they will look good. But remember that flowers on the second generation vines which will appear this year, they won't be double, they will be single flowers if your variety is originally double flowered one. That's absolutely okay, and this is how they usually grow. So be careful when cutting them down. And this is clematis of the third pruning group. It's actually princess red, which is extremely abundant in flowering, and it usually has lots of vines. And the clematis of the third pruning group are usually cut down closely to the ground. So sometimes you can leave up to 15 or 20 centimeters above the ground level if you see that this varieties has buds above the ground, like this vine. But usually, look here, clematis of the third pruning group, they give new shots directly from the ground. Here they are, new vines. They are coming directly from the ground. It's very, very early, it's very cold, but they are already here. So you just prune them like this. This is an old vine, very old vine. And here you prune, leaving this bud, it's okay. So you just do like this. You prune every vine. The old vines, it's very good to cut them down too. And it will look nice. And now you do like this. Up. And here it is, absolutely ready. Just look, it's absolutely clean, it's very accurate looking, and just imagine all this support will be covered by the brand new growth in the coming season, brand new flowers. And please do not take away all this foliage which fell down to the ground while you were cutting off your vines, because it acts as a mulch and it protects the new growth from the frosts. And we have regular night frosts at the moment, and it looks just nice, very natural. But that's not all, because now you need to gather all the vines you cut down. You have to take away them from the side and to utilize. That would be great to make mulch out of them. So this was Alla and Linden Grow Gardens channel. Bye bye, see you later.